from South Central South Dakota. I'm the president of RCAF, which means that the board elected me. I'm a volunteer. I'm a cattle feeder. My brother and I run a 3,000 head feedlot, 400 cows. I guess just to give you a little bit of personal background, my dad, my brother, and I, we used to feed about 1,000 head of cattle and run about 250 head of cows. Okay. So the industry, the people that maybe have a different perspective than us tell us that we need to get more efficient. Well, now my brother and I, and one part-time retired guy that runs a feed wagon for us, we feed 3,000 head of cattle. We have 400 head of cows up here in the North Country, which we fight the weather and everything else. We've lived through 2 years of drought, but I don't know how much more efficient I could get. So that's just kind of my personal story, why I got involved. I'm not sure that the current system that we're in can be outworked. And I think that that's the evidence of that is the fact that we've lost 70% of our independent feedlots in this country that are people who feed their own cattle. Our balance is about half custom cattle and about half owned cattle. We feed custom cattle just as a risk mitigation, right? We get paid to do the work and margin on our feed, and that's kind of what has kept us alive in the years when the cattle were losing money. So I guess where I'm going with this is I think that we need to look at it in terms of small business in America. Every small business in America, and especially since COVID, but even before, is we fight concentration in every aspect of our country. It's getting harder and harder for small business to survive. People are hanging their head. We've all been working harder and harder. The treadmill spins faster and faster, and you can't just slow down. You either jump off or you run yourself to death. And I think that that's what we're seeing. And I think that that's why we have a hard time. Maybe it's hard to rally the spirit of the American small businessman because it's been such a long slog here since deregulation in the 80s. So I don't think that what we're asking for in the AMP Act, and again, thank you to the TAPS group for getting people together, and I think it's growing. We're getting people from other states and the members of RCAF. We're the largest independent cattle organization in the country, which means you have to have cattle to vote. I just don't think that what we're asking for is too much to ask in terms of America. Some people will tell you that we're radicals, and I guess we are. We're as radical as America itself. America is not enshrined in stone. Moses didn't chisel it into a tablet. We're a new country. We're finding our way. And I would challenge that right now, we've lost our way from the fundamentals that made us great. So I would really ask you to look at the AMP Act and to maybe think of it in that terms. I think that if we were to put into place every aspect of the AMP Act, we would not destroy anyone's ability to compete in this market. We would not drive anyone out of business, but we would make the big corporations, and I hate to sound like a broken record, we would make them compete with us, because as it is right now, I don't, if we had a competitive marketplace, I think that would organically, we would see a resurgence of people bringing kids, multi-generational operations, bringing their kids back to the farm. And that's what this country needs in terms of food security. So I hope that that's the mindset. If you would consider this, that's what we really need in America. We don't need to subsidize the little guy or anything like that. I think given the ability to compete in rural America, there's plenty of work ethic, there's plenty of entrepreneurialism, but that's what we need as a foundation in this country. So thank you.
You're welcome.